Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our webinar series for tonight. I am Cassandra, Diva of Dialogue Lee, and I'm glad to have you with me for this evening session. This is the District 103 Toastmasters Senior Advisor Webinar Series, and I am looking so forward for you being with me tonight for the topic of creating a quality club. This is part 2 of this topic regarding creating a quality club. Last week, we explored exactly what it means to have a quality club, and tonight we're going to continue in that conversation. I want to make certain that as we get going for this evening that you know this call is being recorded. We will have an opportunity a little later on to have Q&A. That way, if you have any questions or even if you want to make a comment, you'll have an opportunity to do so. I recognize some of you are with me by webinar and some of you are with me by conference call. At any rate, you will have a chance to ask questions. With this call being recorded, I ask that we are able to move forward with silence in the background. So in a few moments, I'll give a few housekeeping tips, and it's simply to make certain that we can have a noise-free existence. I'm just simply making sure as I look at my buttons here with technology that I have everything in order, and it looks like I am good to go, which means I am now ready to start testing out my slides, and voila, they work as well. Good. It's always wonderful to be able to test out the technology to ensure that it's working. And as I said, during the call, during the webinar, you'll have an opportunity to use the technology to ask questions. And as I said, tonight's focus is about creating a quality club. As we're learning about this topic tonight, I want to make certain that we do put our mobile devices or our telephones on the silent mode. That way, if you have any background noise in your environment, we can have a noise-free environment, and you don't have to worry about hearing the background noise of others, and our call can have the noise-free zone. I did mention we'll have Q&A, which means if you have a question at a point in time in which I'm not yet taking Q&A, be sure to retain your question. That means if you need to write it down, that's completely okay. Just hold on to it. Don't forget it. Be able to ask it during the time when the Q&A opens up. When you do the Q&A, be mindful that I will ask you to at least state your name. That way I know who you are and where you're from, which club you're from, and then you'll have the opportunity to state your question. If you're thinking about asking a multi-part question, I say pick the most important part to that question and ask it first. Listen, this is a webinar, this is a conference call. We really won't know how many people have Q&A within our segment of time, which I would love to get to everyone's question. Therefore, I ask that you make the attempt to ask the most important question first, and if we have extra time, you are more than welcome to ask the other parts of your question. Yet this call, this webinar is being recorded. So if you are wondering, should I say anything? Will others hear me? Don't be shy. Even though it is being recorded, other people may have the same question you have. So I say, let's get it asked, let's get it answered, let's get it recorded. That way other people can benefit from learning and knowing just like you will here on the call. I mentioned that this call is being recorded, this conference session is being recorded, yet this session would not happen without the support of our District 103 leaders this year. I always like to give a shout out to our District 103 trio members, and that is our Club Growth Director, Greg Thompson, our Program Quality Director, Joe McCarty, as well as our District Director of Ivory Gwynn. These three gentlemen really supported the idea of this program. I would not be able to bring it to you tonight, and in the multiple evenings in which I've done the session, they are the ones that made certain this program could take place. Therefore, I say kudos to them and thank you again for allowing me this opportunity. This program wouldn't be possible even if I didn't have the experience of being able to put together this program. Now, many of you know that I've been around for quite some time, yet you might not know that I joined in January of 1998. That means means I have a little over 20 years involvement in Toastmasters. And I actually got involved immediately with leadership. I was a member for about 6 months, and after that I've been in membership and been in leadership ever since that time. January 1998 started the exposure, started the experience with Toastmasters. I actually say that started my Toastmasters career. I joined Toastmasters for leadership development. I stay with Toastmasters for leadership, management, and supervision development. So with me being able to be involved in Toastmasters, I started at a corporate club where I got exposed to club officer roles. And eventually when I left corporate America to start my own business and to do what I do now, which is being a full-time independent consultant, teaching professional development classes around the world, I have had the opportunity with my community club to still fulfill leadership roles. That means all 7 of the club officer roles, I've had an opportunity to actually be in those roles, understand more about those roles, and tonight we'll touch slightly on those roles. Yet, being at the club level, I didn't stop there. I actually went into district leadership. So I've been an area governor, which is now an area director. I've been a division governor twice, which is now called a division director. And I've also been the club retention chair, meaning working with clubs that were struggling, that needed to boost their membership and get themselves back to a distinguished status. I had an opportunity to work as club retention chair to do that. And then I was in the role that exposed me more to the concept of club quality, and that's the program quality role. I'm very excited about the opportunity to bring this session tonight simply because having been the program quality director gave me the exposure to understanding more about what it takes to have a quality club environment. And as I said last week, we explored exactly what that means. Tonight we'll explore that a little bit further. Yet I had a year's worth of time of experience to actually learn that firsthand as program quality director. And I'm very proud to have earned the Excellence in Program Quality Director Award, and that was right before I became the first district director for District 103 Toastmasters. Now keep in mind, even though when I was district director and I wasn't in the program quality director role anymore, I still had to be mindful of club quality. So being the first district director for District 103 Toastmasters, that stayed on my mind. How can we help our clubs to know more about club quality? What can we do to support our clubs in having club quality? That was something that occurred for the entire year when I was district director, and now it's an extension of who I am as the senior advisor for this year's District 103 leadership team. Being the senior advisor just simply means that I am a past district director. I am a natural advisor for the district, having been in that role. However, this year's team, Greg and Joe and Ivory, they have made it very clear that they would like to have more advice and more guidance from me, which is why they supported this program. I don't only provide support to the district leadership. This webinar allows me to provide support to our clubs as well. So that's why this webinar series is happening. And as I said, I've had over 22 years, or at least 22 years experience in Toastmasters. Yet my 15 years of service has been dedicated to my home club of the Wrightwood Ashburn Overcomers Toastmasters Club. You might have recognized I said I started with the corporate club, yet when I left corporate America, I found an opportunity to start a club, and I still manage the club, and that is WAYO Toastmasters. I say that Toastmasters overall is an extension of who I am, and actually let me state it this way. Toastmasters has allowed me to be authentic to who I am. I have a mission of education and empowerment. I have a passion of teaching through speaking. I worked in corporate America where I brought both of those into what I did in my role as both an administrative professional as well as a mid-level manager. And then I had the exposure to Toastmasters, and I've continued to bring in the mission of education and empowerment and teaching through speaking. That's who I am. I've built my career around who I am, and I bring that as part of my service to Toastmasters, to all the clubs within District 30 before, and now to all the clubs in District 103. And hey, since this will be recorded, to all of the Toastmasters clubs around the world. That's a little bit about me. and how this program came about. And you'll hear me talk more about leadership development. You may have also recognized there were some special handouts that you could have had access to or downloaded for this program. And there is a leadership legacy series that I've created. Yes, it's a play off of my last name, Lee. So Leadership Legacy Series. Listen, as I said, I've been around for 22 years. I've been involved in club leadership and district leadership the entire time. What I've found over the course of the years are certain topic areas that we as club leaders must know, yet we don't always get exposed to, or even as a district leader. Sometimes there are certain topic areas that are a little bit confusing that we don't always get a chance to be trained on very specifically, which is why I've created the Leadership Legacy Series. The Leadership Legacy Series is my opportunity to share with you insight and advice, recommendations, and even suggestions on how to handle certain topic areas that will be beneficial for you in your club environment or even for you in your district role as well. So there are topics such as how does your club rank, teaching you about how to use the Toastmasters International dashboard to be able to monitor your club's progress in becoming distinguished. If you're a distinguished club, you're closer to actually performing, or I should say at least having a quality club environment. So that's one of the reports that's there. Oh, I get a lot of questions also about voting members in. I did a special report on voting members into your club. And also, there are other topics that you may find beneficial. So I say just definitely take a look at any of the handouts that were available for this program, any of the ones that were a part of the Leadership Legacy Series. Feel free to download it, hold on to it, share it, pass it on, and see how the information can help you. I want to make certain that all of our clubs can be successful. And as I said before, I've been around this organization for a while, yet I was in this organization for leadership development, and then this organization helped to improve my communication skills, which led me to using my communication skills for creating my training career. I am a trainer by profession, and many of you have been in my webinars for this program, but mainly many of you know me from live sessions that you've attended, whether I was teaching at the District Toastmasters Leadership Institute, meaning the TLIs, or perhaps you were with me for a conference session in the past. My training skills I continuously develop here in Toastmasters, and tonight's session is an extension of that. Yet because I teach as my career, my next goal, besides being available to you and doing more webinar sessions to help you as a club leader and a club and a district leader, my next goal is to become an accredited speaker with Toastmasters International. Not many people know about the Accredited Speaker Program, and you will hear more about that later in our time together with Toastmasters, or I should say with District 103. I'm considering doing a webinar on this program. That way I won't be the only person in District 103 that knows about it. And actually, District 103 currently only has one accredited speaker right now. Well, the accredited speaker has always been a goal for me. I was looking to become an accredited speaker back in 2010, yet the program changed quite a bit, and then my focus also changed because I started to prepare in 2010 to become the district director for District 103 for 2017. So I put becoming an accredited speaker on the back burner, if you will, and now that's at the forefront. So keep in mind, although I've been around for quite some time, I'm still growing, I'm still challenging myself, I'm still looking to learn more and to do things differently. Again, this webinar, that's something that's really stretching me. Not only my communication skills, it's stretching my training skills, and I'm looking forward to being able to use my training skills to become one of the few accredited speakers around the world for Toastmasters International. Now, that is definitely a little bit about me. I wanted to at least give you some insight about the housekeeping for the program, give you some details on who I am and why I'm doing this program, and also let you know that being on the webinar is just one goal I have. I have other goals in my membership with Toastmasters International, as I hope you do as well. Yet now I am ready for us to get into the real meat and potatoes of our session tonight. As I mentioned, tonight's session is all about creating club quality. This is part 2 of creating club quality. Creating club quality for tonight, we're going to be reminded that when your club possesses the characteristics of quality, that the member experience is enhanced. Your club is in existence for your members to become better communicators and better leaders. Yet is your club providing an environment that's conducive for helping your members to become better communicators and leaders? Well, we'll discover that tonight, or I'll say we will uncover that tonight, because tonight we're going to actually look at a few different aspects of what helps to make club quality. For instance, we're going to review the components of what's known as moments of truth. Moments of Truth is an evaluation program that we use to evaluate clubs, our clubs around the world, and we use that, and when I say we, meaning each club, the individual members and the individual club leaders, use the Moments of Truth to get a feel, an assessment of what's going on well in their club environment, what can be improved in their club environment, and also what are they doing that they want to continuously do because it's making an impact. So we will look at the 36, actually there are 36 standards. I had to look for the correct terminology. So 36 standards, 6 areas. Each of the 6 have 6 standards, and we will look at each of them, and I'll ask you to rate your club, mentally rate your club on how your club is doing in achieving those different standards. So that will be the first thing we'll look at tonight. The second area we'll review tonight will be the components of the Distinguished Club Program. Distinguished Club Program. I say that's the barometer in which Toastmasters International is monitoring every single club around the world to discover if we are providing our members with a quality club environment. We're going to take a look at the various components of the Distinguished Club Program, and you will have an opportunity to think about in your mind how your club is doing with fulfilling those different goals of the Distinguished Club Program. And then last but not least, we'll look at the connection between Moments of Truth and Distinguished Club Program. They really do go hand in hand. And if you're doing your assessment or monitoring how your club environment is, 9 times out of 10, you're also going to be able to achieve more of the goals of the Distinguished Club Program. As I said, we'll look at the Moments of Truth separately, the Distinguished Club Program separately, and then we will see the bond between the two and how you can use them to really enhance the quality environment of your club. Let's start with our first area, Moments of Truth. Now, what are the Moments of Truth? Toastmasters International lets you know that Moments of Truth really is a concept where, as a club, you want every new and prospective member's initial interaction with your club to be a positive one. So when they mention Moments of Truth, or when we hear the phrase Moments of Truth, think about it as the decisive time when initial impressions are formed of guests about your club. So that means when you receive guests in your club environment, they're forming an impression. They're getting a feel, they're observing, and they're making a decision if they're going to, 1, come back and visit your club again, and then number 2, if they will feel comfortable enough to join your club as a member of Toastmasters International. So Moments of Truth, again, are really what Toastmasters International deems to be the decisive times when initial impressions are formed about your club. Every new member or every guest we want them to become a new member, so we want to be very mindful. What's the impression our club provides to anyone who's a guest, and does that impression make them feel comfortable enough to eventually become a member of our club? That's why we're going to look at those 6 different areas and look at all 36 standards of moments of truth. So you will see how members and even how guests form an impression of your club. Yet moments of truth, decisive times when initial impressions are formed. So keep that in mind. That's what the primary definition is. That might be a definition for moments of truth. Yet I want you to remember that moments of truth is a tool that Toastmasters International allows us to use when we are able to monitor our clubs. And as I said, there are 36 different standards. Yet when we use moments of truth as a tool, what that basically means is moments of truth is going to serve as a guide for our clubs in delivering quality service and outstanding member experiences. So it serves as a guide. It gives us some areas to think about, to know about, to follow, and that's how we're able to provide better service to our members and make certain that their experience is a good experience with being involved in Toastmasters. When we use moments of truth as a tool, the second thing that happens for us is that the moments of truth enables our clubs to be sustained because it gives us a guided evaluation process to follow as well as targeted recommendations that we can achieve. Now, some clubs are going to be off the chain, or I should say achieve all 6 standards in all 6 areas. There will be just a few. Yet I think all of our clubs will find we will not be achieving all 6 standards in all 6 areas, which means there will be room for improvement. Again, moments of truth as a tool helps us to be able to have a guided evaluation, some targeted recommendations that allow us to sustain our clubs for the benefit of our members. Another reason we use moments of truth as a tool is because it helps us to encourage and celebrate our members' achievement. It provides us an opportunity to have a supportive and fun environment for our clubs, and it also ensures that we offer a professionally organized meeting with variety. I love that reason for moments of truth, especially the last part there, providing a professionally organized meeting with variety. Keep in mind that Toastmasters International really is a professional development resource. A lot of individuals join Toastmasters as part of their clubs at companies. Yet there are clubs that are in churches and in community environments, like my club, for instance, is at a public library. Yet every club, no matter where you are, should have a level of professionalism. There should be a level of encouragement and celebration, and it should be a supportive and fun environment. We can have fun within the structure of Toastmasters. I hear too many times, and I especially heard this when I was in my program quality director role and even in the role of district director. There are a lot of clubs that want to usurp the system of Toastmasters International for the sake of fun. They don't want to follow the structure because they want their members to have fun. Well, keep in mind, you can have fun with following the structure. It is not about just doing anything. You want your members to become better communicators, better leaders, and that's why the structure is there. And again, fun can occur, yet make certain that your structure has a professional vibe to it and that things are organized. We know we want things to end on time and start on time, and that's part of our culture in Toastmasters. And that's what, again, moments of truth will help you to evaluate because it gives you those areas to keep in mind. Speaking of keeping in mind, there's one more reason why we use moments of truth as a tool in order to monitor club quality. And that's because moments of truth make certain that you can have a safe, supportive environment in which your members can achieve their goals. Remember I said that your club exists so that your members can become better communicators and leaders? Remember, your club environment is about your members. It's for a collective reason. Each and every one of you in your club, you're all there to become better at speaking, better at communicating, and better at leading. You want your club environment to be professionally organized, yes, yet you also want it to be a safe environment. You want it to be a supportive environment. That means watch out for the conflict that can occur. Watch out for the bad evaluations that can turn people off and send them away. Those areas, moments of truth allow you to monitor. And again, the 36 standards of the Moments of Truth resource helps you to evaluate your club. And you can evaluate your club to make certain that your members will always have a good experience in which to become better communicators and leaders. Moments of Truth is a tool. Moments of Truth also has 6 categories, 6 elements to consider. Now, we will look at each one of these categories separately, yet know that from the 6 categories, we start off with first impressions. First impressions is that first category in which you get a chance to understand if your club is achieving all 6 of those standards with first impressions. Then we take a look at membership orientation. How is your club doing with orienting your new members? There are 6 standards in which to evaluate your club by. Tonight, you'll get an opportunity to understand how well your club is doing with membership orientation. We'll then take a look at fellowship, variety, and communication. Different aspects that are connected to this area. You will learn all 6 of those standards. You will be able to rate your club in those areas. That way you'll know if there are any areas that you must tweak in order to make certain you have stronger fellowship, variety, and communication with your club. Program planning and meeting organization is the 4th element of Moments of Truth that we'll look at. 6 different standards to make certain that your club is providing adequate program planning and meeting organization. You will know exactly certain areas to be mindful of, and you'll be able to rate your club to see how you're doing with those 6 areas. With our 5th element of Moments of Truth, that's all about membership strength. Remember, your club cannot exist if you don't have your membership strength. And we'll talk more specifically about exactly what the 6 elements are for, or I should say the 6 standards are for the element of membership strength. And of course, you more than likely already could hear the number 20 start replaying in your head. That's a foundational point, yet there are other standards for membership strength. We don't only want to have 20 members in our club, yet there are other things to consider, and you'll learn that tonight with membership strength. And then finally, we'll close out by looking at the element of achievement recognition. Oh, Moments of Truth helps to evaluate your club on how you're doing with recognizing and celebrating your members. 6 different standards to make certain you're following. You'll get a chance to rate your club and see if your club is currently following those standards, or you'll know exactly which areas to improve upon. Let's now take a deeper dive into our Moments of Truth elements, and let's start with first impressions. First impressions give you the opportunity to make certain that when you're evaluating your club, you're ensuring that your club has a positive experience for your guests. How are your guests observing your meetings? What's the feeling they're getting when they're there? You will get a chance to make certain that you're rating your club in that category. And I like the fact that it says first impressions are important to club success because guests' positive experiences and observations determine whether they will return and become members. We all have club environments where people tell us, oh, this was such a good time. And not just people, meaning guests. Your guests will tell you, oh, I had such a good time at this meeting. I'm definitely coming back. And then sometimes we don't see them back at all. Now, of course, we know that could partially be due to their schedule. Yet, was it something that was an underlying situation with our club that they were not really open to letting us know? See, as a club, meaning club members and club leaders, we want to be in tune with first impressions. What are the guests experiencing, and will they return? So let's look at the elements or the standards that help to make up first impressions. Now, number one, when you have a guest come in the door, you want to make certain that you are greeting your guests. So if guests are being greeted, they're feeling welcomed immediately. How consistent is your club with greeting your guests? If your club is good at being consistent in greeting guests, meaning either it's the sergeant at arms or a hospitality committee, if you have someone who is designated to make certain that anyone that walks in through the door, they feel as if they are at home, give yourself 1 point for that. The second standard to rate your club on is to look at, does your guest, do they receive a name tag? Now, a name tag might seem insignificant for some, yet for many, we find that name tags are extremely helpful. In my home club, for instance, our members who have earned educational awards have name badges that we get from Toastmasters International, which means if you're in a name badge, you automatically know that individual is a member of the club. However, we don't want to have guests come in and we not know who they are and not be able to connect with them by name, which means we make certain that every guest receives a name tag too. And if our members who have been with us have not yet earned an educational award, which means they don't have a name badge, they get a name tag too, because we want everyone in that environment to be able to connect with each other by name and feel more of a connection with each other. So name tags are important, and notice that Moments of Truth is giving you an opportunity to rate yourself on having a name tag for your guests. So are they being greeted and are they being given a name tag? Give yourself a point if they are. Arranging your meeting room professionally is another part of Moments of Truth. I don't know about you, yet I have been in various club environments. As I said, some clubs meet in schools, some clubs meet in churches, some clubs meet in corporations, other clubs meet in public libraries, and no environment is ever the same. Yet one of the consistencies I found, no matter what the environment was in which I visited a club, the clubs always had that consistency in being professionally arranged. The banner was there, the seating was appropriate, signage was good to help guests and members find the location. So think about your club from the standpoint of how is your meeting space arranged? Is it professional, and is it a good space, which leads to the next standard, having a convenient meeting location. Having a convenient meeting location as well as having a professionally arranged meeting room, those two are connected. Yet look at them having a convenient meeting location, because sometimes if it's hard to find you and members have a hard time getting there, imagine what's going to happen with your guests. You want to have appropriate signage if you're in a space where it is a little bit of a scavenger hunt to find your meeting room. You also want to make certain that you can be as specific in your directions on your website or as specific in your instructions for the Toastmasters International website on how members can access you. And the reason I say that is because we're in Chicago. A lot of our clubs are corporate clubs, and a lot of our corporations don't want unexpected individuals in their buildings, or I should say non-employees. We know even to get to a contest at the area or division level, we need to show government-issued IDs to get into some of our corporation buildings. So do keep in mind, if your club has a restriction on who can enter a building, be sure that all of your advertisements, all of your promotions, and even your listing on the Toastmasters.org website gives the very specific instructions on how people can find you. You want your meeting location to be as convenient as possible, yet if there are certain restrictions, be sure to instruct people how to be able to get to you. Now, the final two standards of first impressions include inviting guests to address your club and then inviting your guests to join your club. Inviting your guests to address your club. That simply means at some point during the meeting, give your guests an opportunity to let you know how their experience was being a guest in your environment. Sometimes it's the Toastmaster that does that in the beginning of the meeting. And usually that doesn't work as well because your guests have not really had a chance to experience your meeting, which is why I see it work best when either the Toastmaster or the club president ask guests at the end of the meeting how their experience was. If your guests don't get a chance to participate in table topics, for instance, this becomes their built-in table topic moment. They get an opportunity for 60 seconds or less to simply, authentically share with you how it was to be in your club environment. There you will hear key information that lets you know about their first impressions. Depending upon what they say, you may want to continue to do something that made them feel good, or you might need to tweak something. Yet keep in mind that first impressions, that fifth standard of first impressions, is giving you the chance to make certain you give your guests a way to address your membership. And then finally, encourage them to join. An open invitation. That last standard of first impression is reminding you, make the call to have them actually become your member. And I'm looking for the terminology in sales, close the sale, if you will. Invite your guests to become a member of your club. Now, every club has this tradition as to how you invite members to become, or how you invite guests, rather, to become members of your club. Follow whatever your tradition is, yet don't lose the opportunity to publicly invite guests to be members of your club. Do keep in mind that Toastmasters International lets us know our clubs are private associations. We can invite people to become members of our club. Membership is by invitation, and this is your invitation to make certain that your guests know they can join your club. When you combine greeting guests, giving them a name tag, arranging your meetings professionally, having a convenient location, with giving your guests a chance to speak at the meetings, as well as inviting your guests to become members of your club, those are 6 standards in which you can rate really high in your first impressions. Now, each of those standards were separate, and I'm thinking just give yourself 1 point for each of those that your club is doing consistently well. See if you can get 3 or more in that category, and I would imagine you can. So keep in mind, when you talk about having success with your club and having quality club, you want to have 3 or more of those standards being achieved. If you can have all 6 of those standards achieved on a consistent basis, your club definitely is successful in providing a quality club environment. Let's look at our next standard, or our next element for Moments of Truth, and that is membership orientation. Membership orientation, this is where you are able to offer members the greatest benefit from their Toastmasters experience, meaning your club must acquaint your new members with the Toastmasters Education and Recognition Program, as well as make your members aware of the club's responsibility to them and their responsibility to your club. Some members may have noticed how I stressed that last part of the statement. You're making your new members aware of their responsibility to your club as well. So orientation is important. And I love the fact that at the District 103 conference this year in April 24th to be exact, there is going to be a session on Friday night that helps to give new members more exposure to the Toastmasters environment. And although it won't be specific information on your club per se, yet at least they get an opportunity, those newer members get an opportunity to understand that they have a responsibility to your club as well. So let's look at these individual standards for membership orientation, and you'll notice why, with those 6 standards, why in this definition for membership orientation, we have a membership responsibility to them and they have a responsibility to us. So here are the standards for membership orientation. Number 1 is having a formal induction process. Does your club currently induct new members into your club? Meaning, do you do a ceremony where your vice president of membership brings up the new members, make certain that those new members and their coaches come up before the entire membership, and the coach is able to give that new member a membership lapel pin, and you make a hoopla about them becoming a member of your club. Well, I know just a few clubs do that. Yet notice this is a standard in which to evaluate your club. Formally inducting your new members can help your members to feel more connected to your environment, which could lead to your club having stronger club quality. So consider having a membership induction process. Another area to consider is to make certain that every new member gets assigned a coach and a mentor. Thanks to Pathways. Pathways is introducing us to the concept of making sure new members have a coach, someone who can assist new members with their short-term goals, as well as a member, someone who can assist your new members with achieving their long-term goals. In the past, it was simply make sure that your new members get a mentor. Now, with Pathways, your new members are getting both a coach and a mentor. Assign your new members a coach and a mentor. And for those of you who are familiar with the terminology of coach and mentor thanks to Pathways, you understand exactly what I'm saying. For those of you who are not yet familiar, go out there to Toastmasters.org/pathways and learn more about the difference of a coach and a mentor. And if you're using Pathways, you are definitely going to learn that as a member when you get to level 2 of Pathways. So infuse that concept into your club environment. Make certain with member orientation, your new members are getting a coach and they're getting a mentor. Now, membership orientation does require that you are discussing education programs, you are discussing the recognition system, and because we're currently in between 2 education programs, your club will have some members who will talk the traditional language, yet new members of your club are only speaking the Pathways language. Therefore, if you're in a club environment where you have members in both the traditional program and Pathways, be sure to have someone from your club who is well-versed in Pathways speaking the education program information to your new members. And let them know they'll be recognized, that they'll be celebrated, and explain that to them. Now, I think about this being a good partnership for the VPE and the VPM, meaning the Vice President of Education and the Vice President of Membership will be able to cover those areas at their new member orientation for the club. So keep that in mind. Understand what your club is doing with all of those areas, and then let's add on these final 3. Number 4. This 4th standard for membership orientation is making sure that you assess the learning needs of your members. You may do that with a very formalized survey for your club. You might end up using the survey form that Toastmasters International provides. Yet somehow, some way, between your Vice President of Education or your Vice President of Membership, you want to find out what your members are there for. What are they hoping to develop? What are they hoping to enhance? What do they want to learn? Will your club environment be able to help to meet their learning needs? And that's one of the standards that you get an opportunity to evaluate simply to ensure that your members can have a quality environment. Add to those standards, making sure your members are being assigned speaking roles. Speaking roles don't mean that they're only delivering speeches. Sure, at some point, your new member will deliver their icebreaker speech. Yet your new member should get acclimated with speaking in your club by serving in a meeting functionary role. I call meeting functionary roles for a new member in particular, platform experience. We don't want new members coming into the club and immediately delivering their icebreaker. One, they've never really been in that environment before. They may be really nervous to be before an audience speaking. We don't want them to feel completely uncomfortable where their first experience in delivering a speech doesn't go well, which is why when they say assign speaking roles, consider giving your new members a speaking role of being the eye counter, or the timer, or the joke master, or the inspirational moment speaker, meaning whatever roles you have in your club environment that your new members can get their feet wet in speaking, assign them those roles first. That helps to build them up to their very first speech, and that way they'll be more confident and be more successful in delivering their icebreaker. Yet with membership orientation, getting them to speak is going to be essential, and I want you to consider how well is your club doing right now with assigning your new members with speaking roles beyond just delivering their icebreaker speech. And then last but not least, ensure that you get your new members involved in all aspects of your meeting environment. Your club activities inside the club, your club activities outside the club, meaning if you do events outside of the club, make sure your new members are involved. If you are doing pre-meetings or special meetings or speech contests, get your new members involved in those as well. See, the standard of membership orientation for Moments of Truth, it's starting from the beginning of your new members becoming a member of your club. Let's get them inducted. Let's give them a pen, assign them a seasoned member to be their coach and mentor, make sure they understand the educational program, the recognition system, and ensure their learning needs are going to be met. Make sure also they get acclimated to speaking. And it's not only with this icebreaker speech, yet give them a chance to be involved in your meetings by being meeting functionaries. Get them involved in all aspects of your club as quickly as you can. Many of your clubs right now are doing really well with this standard. You can give yourself all 6 points. Yet some of your clubs currently are not doing all 6 of these standards. Therefore, I want you to rate your success in that. Think about, out of all 6 of the standards we've talked about so far, how many of those you are consistently using in a club year. If it's 2, you know you want to increase that. If it's 4, oh, that's pretty good. See if the other 2 you can incorporate. And of course, if it's all 6, you are doing a phenomenal job with membership orientation. Yet membership orientation is only the 2nd element of Moments of Truth. Let's look at rating your club in the 3rd element. The 3rd element of Moments of Truth is fellowship, variety, and communication. Fellowship, variety, and communication means that your club retains members by providing a fun, friendly, and supportive environment that encourages enjoyable learning. Notice what this standard is helping you to measure. Are you keeping your members? Keeping members is just as important as recruiting members. I know as a district, we talk about building new clubs and helping all clubs to achieve in excellence. Yet at the club level, we want to build our club's success by not only recruiting new members, we want to also retain our members. And that's what Moments of Truth standard number 3 helps you to evaluate. So let's take a look at those 6 standards, and I want you to rate your club and how well you're doing in keeping your members. So first off, we go back to the guest concept. So you'll notice the first standard is all about making sure you can greet your guests and make them feel welcome. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, Cassandra, didn't you already talk about greeting guests? Yeah, I did. That was in the first impression standard. First impression talked about the guests primarily. Yet notice that fellowship is reminding us about the guest as well. So the guests are an integral part in making sure our clubs are having quality, because eventually those guests become members, right? So how well are you guys doing in your club environment with making your guests feel welcome? Next element to consider, or the next standard for this element, is to look at, are you planning enjoyable and educational meetings? Enjoyable and educational meetings. Of course, Toastmasters has a format that you can follow, and no matter where you go around the world to a Toastmasters meeting, you should be able to observe a table topic segment, which is the extemporaneous speaking segment, a prepared speeches segment, as well as a report segment, meaning the counter, the grammarian, the timer, the speech evaluators, the general evaluator, they deliver their reports. Those are the 3 primary elements of any club meeting. However, your club has the flexibility to add in other necessary elements that will make certain that your meetings are enjoyable and educational. Remember, it's not a social club. Toastmasters International is not about being a social club. It is all about being an organization that helps you to improve in your communication and leadership skills. At some point, some learning must occur. So with standard number 2 for fellowship, variety, and communication, that's giving you a chance to rate how well your club is doing with having educational meetings that are also enjoyable. Next standard for this, or next element for this standard, is scheduling regular social events. Now remember, this standard of Moments of Truth is about fellowship, variety, and communication. When you talk about the element of scheduling regular social events, that is giving you the reminder that you will be doing things outside of your club, or you will be doing things more than just a club meeting. I know about 4 years ago, I think it was, my club became very conscious about doing social events. During the Talk Up Toastmaster membership promotion program, for instance, because right now, February 1st started Talk Up Toastmasters, and Talk Up Toastmaster runs until the end of March, so March 31st, that program will be over. Toastmasters International has deemed February 1st until March 31st as Talk Up Toastmasters an opportunity for you to recruit at least 5 new members to your club. Now, they have 2 other opportunities to recruit as well, very targeted dates. They have August 1st until September 30th, which is the Smedley Membership Building Program, and then they end the club year with Beat the Clock, which starts May 1st and ends on June 30th. 3 segments of time in which they're asking clubs to recruit, get new members for your club. Well, my club does recruit during those times, yet my club also focuses on retaining our members during that time. Those are the times in which we're scheduling our social events. We're looking to do something outside of the club environment where we can get together, have fun and camaraderie with each other. We just did our Smedley. And I say Smedley because our last due cycle or membership building period was September. So in September, we did a bowling outing. We're getting ready to plan another social event for the month of March where our members get a chance to hang out and socialize. Yes, we're focused on recruiting as well, which is what the membership building program is for, yet we use that time to also retain our members. Notice the third element is saying schedule regular social events. Make sure your members can have fun with each other beyond just at those club meetings. Now, speaking of beyond the club meetings, the 4th element for fellowship, variety, and communication talks about participating in area, division, district, and international events. Some of you as individual members, you are doing this one extremely well. I know many of you because I've seen you participate in area, division, district, and international events. Yet a good number of our members never participate in anything outside of the club environment. This is an element in which you can rate your club. Be honest in your evaluation. Are there ways in which you can get your members to participate in out-of-club events? I know the conference for District 103 is coming up, and that's a perfect opportunity for you to be able to get your members outside of your club environment and get them at a district-sponsored event. Yeah, hey, we're also about to have division-level speech contests. Perhaps your club can plan an out-of-club event in order to go and see the division contest or to support your member who made it to the division contest. Yeah, remember that standard of fellowship, variety, and communication wants you to be able to rate how well your club is doing in participating in events outside of your club environment. So participate at area, division, district, and even the international convention. That helps your club with having a stronger bond. Speaking of stronger bonds, encouraging inter-club events is another aspect of fellowship. Now, when they say inter-club events, I think of 2 key ways in which to make that happen. One, You can participate in the District 103 Club Ambassador Program. The Club Ambassador Program is an opportunity for you to visit other clubs within the Toastmasters program. That means the Toastmasters program does not have to be only in District 103. Oh, you can travel the world and visit Toastmaster clubs, yet take with you that District 103 Club Ambassador form and be able to observe what the other club does that's different than yours. Participate in that environment while you're there. You earn points. You earn an opportunity to become a Club Ambassador of the Year, and that program form you can find where you can download it from the District 103 website if you're curious about using the Club Ambassador Program as an inter-club event. Yet another way in which you can do inter-club event is to consider doing joint meetings with other clubs. I know clubs within certain areas do this really well. I remember my home club used to do joint meetings with the clubs that were in my area. And when I say area, remember that every district is broken down into a division. Every division is broken down into an area, and those areas have certain clubs that are within the area team for that year. Your area director visits your club at least once every 6 months. Your area director is more than likely communicating with your club president on a more regular basis. If you're curious to know what are the other clubs in our areas in which we can do a joint meeting with, your area director would be the best person to consult with, and they can tell you who those clubs are. Yet if you meet a fellow Toastmaster at a conference or at a TLI or even at a contest, and you like them and you want to go and observe their environment, hey, plan a club trip or plan a joint meeting amongst those two clubs. The clubs don't have to be in the same area in order for you to do joint meetings, yet inter-club events, those are great opportunities to build fellowship, learn new things about how to run meetings, and simply to shake things up a bit to make it fun, enjoyable, while being educational. The last standard for this fellowship, variety, and communication category is to look at publishing a newsletter or regularly updating your club website. And I shouldn't say or. You can do both of them if you like. I simply say or because I know in my club environment, we primarily focus on the website, not necessarily a club newsletter. However, we have had both at one time. Depends upon who the Vice President of Public Relations is. Your newsletter and your club website is a way to keep communication flowing amongst your members. It's also a way to keep communication flowing for guests who will eventually visit your club, who might become members of your club. So look at ways to keep communication consistently flowing or to be consistently available. And that's what a newsletter allows, as well as a website. Both of those tools allow you to have consistent communication with prospective members and your current members. And all of these elements, starting again with the guests, to making sure that you can have the tools to keep your guests and your members informed, all of those standards, or all of those elements rather, help with making sure the standard of fellowship, variety, and communication can be met. Here's the deal. How did your club do? You heard me mention all 6 of those. Some of those elements you might not have even thought about, especially when we talked about inter-club events. Some clubs are doing those 6 elements extremely well. How did your club do, though? Were you able to give your club 1 point for all 6? Or did you find that you had fewer than 6 points in that area? Yet keep in mind, whatever you discovered, you can have a conversation with your club members, your club leaders, and you can make the adjustment. Now, your 4th Moments of Truth element is all about program planning and meeting organization. Program planning and meeting organization is when club meetings are carefully planned with well-prepared speakers and useful evaluations, and where members are able to meet their education goals. If anyone on the line right now is a Vice President of Education, I'm sure you may have heard that this particular element really is within your wheelhouse. Yeah, this is the element where Vice Presidents of Education, you really must pay attention to what's going on in your club environment. Now remember, Moments of Truth element number 4, program planning and meeting organization, wants you to look at each and every meeting that your club holds. You want to make certain that it is well prepared. Let's look at what the elements are ensuring that you can have a well-prepared meeting. So number 1 is to publicize your program agenda in advance. There are many clubs who do this extremely well. A certain day of the week, your Vice President of Education is consistent in sending all members that agenda, and you have a certain time in which to get yourself on the agenda before that publicized agenda goes out. And I have to take my hat off to those clubs that are very consistent with doing this. There are other clubs that still must work on being consistent with this. So give yourself a point if your club does this element well. The other element for program planning and meeting organization is to make certain that you know your program responsibilities and you're prepared to carry out meeting assignments. Now let me clarify who I'm talking about here. That's everybody. Every club member, every meeting functionary, every club leader. When you're in a meeting, meetings are run by the members. Sure, club officers will be taking on meeting functionary roles. However, every member, especially our new members, they should be familiar with what those meeting functionary roles are all about. They should understand how to carry that meeting functionary role out. And again, that's where your club coaches and your club mentors within your club for your new members, that is, it is important that they can help your new members to understand how to fulfill those meeting roles. Yet everyone should know what to do in a meeting when a meeting is being run. So all of those meeting functionary roles, people should have the knowledge in order to carry out those roles. So that's what this element is talking about. The next element is making certain that your meetings are organized and your program planning is done by ensuring on your meeting agendas you are delivering manual and or pathway speeches. Again, we're in a two-phase. We have two different educational programs going on right now. We have the legacy program, or the traditional program, which is about to be phased out come June 30th, 2020, which means in some club environments, you will have members delivering manual speeches. However, you will also have members delivering pathway speeches. Newer clubs, all you see are pathway speeches. Your members are delivering their speeches for their level 1 and their level 2, and even right now, some of them are delivering speeches for levels 3, level 4, and level 5. So you will have speeches by your members being done from the Toastmaster International program, whether it's the traditional program or the Pathways program. Unless you have a special guest, really no one should be delivering speeches on anything other than or from anything other than the traditional program material or the Pathways material. When we talk about program planning and meeting organization, the fourth element in which to rate your club on is how well does your club do with beginning on time and ending your meetings on time. Also, how well does your club do with doing creative table topics or meeting activities? How good are you with even giving positive and helpful evaluations? See, those last three elements all help to make up program planning and meeting organization. Positive and helpful evaluations, that's how your members grow. Conducting creative table topics and meeting activities, that's how your members can have fun. Yeah, beginning and ending your meetings on time, that's how your members can stay connected to wanting to keep coming to your meetings because they don't feel as if their time is being wasted. And that also adds to the professional environment that was discussed before. Program planning and meeting organization requires that we are in tune with a lot, yet it's mainly about the meeting itself. What's happening on that agenda, what's happening during that meeting, how are members helping to make sure the meeting is being run. Members have a responsibility to know meeting functionary roles, and members also have a responsibility with delivering the appropriate manual or pathway speeches. When we can fit in our meeting environment all of these elements, we can have a successful club environment. Yet I want you to think about those elements, and I want you to rate your club. How well did your club or does your club do? How consistent is your club in meeting all 6 of those elements for the planning and meeting standard? If you found that your club is consistent with 3 or more of those, thumbs up to you for that. If you found that your club is not doing so well, talk to your club members and your club leaders and work to adjust your club's performance in that element. Now, let's look at the 5th element of Moments of Truth, which is membership strength. Membership strength, and this is when the club has enough members to provide leadership and to fill meeting and committee assignments, to make certain that your club can create a lively and active club environment that benefits the existing members and can draw in new members. I've heard a few times, and I've had people actually ask me specifically, how many members does your club have? Some people don't want to join clubs that have 10 or fewer members. Well, we know in the Toastmasters environment, and especially from a district leadership point, if we have clubs that have less than 12 members, we have a club that's in trouble, and that's where a club coach needs to come in and assist with helping the club to build membership. Toastmasters International wants the club to have charter strength. Remember, your club became a club because you had 20 members. 20 members, they consider to be enough members to at least make sure that the leadership roles are being fulfilled, activities can occur, and that everyone does not have to wear multiple hats in order to do it. Yet we know in our club environment, membership strength sometimes is a sticky situation. Therefore, let's make certain we start to evaluate our clubs in membership strength. Let's take a look at the standards for element number 5. Number 1 standard, or number 1 element for standard of membership, is to make sure that you can maintain 20 or more members. 20 or more members means at your club meeting, you can at least get 12 or more members at your club meetings. Not every 20 person will be there, or let me phrase it this way. Not every single person from your list of 20 members will be at every single club meeting. We know that. It's just a fact, nature of fact, right? We understand that. However, we don't want to have only 8 members in our club because then that's taxing on everyone. Again, a club with 8 members means the club is struggling. And headquarters, as well as your district, will look to start paying more attention to you. And actually, headquarters is going to look to the district for the district to reach out to the club to start supporting the club and building members. Now, when you're building members, when you are building members, whether you have 20 members or you have 8 members, keep in mind, you want to make sure you can look at retaining your members, not just recruiting members. So yes, recruit members so you can get to 20, yet retain the members you have. Remember we talked in one of the previous standards about being able to retain your members? I gave the example of how my home club is looking at both recruiting and retaining because we use those 3 time frames that Toastmasters International has designated as membership building time. Well, as membership building time, we also look at it as retention time. That's when we do our social events. Keep the members you have for as long as you can. When your members can stay and they're meeting their learning needs, they feel more comfortable being in your environment, and they can help with the recruitment of newer members. Yet if you're losing members, that's going to be a problem. So rate yourself on being able to have 20 members or more, and rate yourself on how your club is doing with retaining your members. Now, here's another point I want you to give your club, and that is in club promotion. Do people know your club exists? Toastmasters International is the first built-in way to promote your club, meaning when your club got chartered, you were able to tell Toastmasters International the day, the time, and the location in which your club meets. Also, if you had a club website or a meetup page or a Facebook group page, you are able to tell Toastmasters International the link to your website, to your Meetup page, or to your Facebook page. They will publicize that for you, because when guests go to the Toastmasters International website to find a club and your club comes up as an option, now those individuals can find very specific information out about your club. Does Toastmasters International have that information, or does that information need to be up to date? Make certain you look at that, because you want to be able to promote your club. Then look at promotion from another aspect, and this really ties into your Vice President of Education. What's being done on a consistent basis to publicize your club to the world at large? Sure, you want your members to know that your club is still around, and your members get meeting notices, and the VPE communicates with them about the agendas. However, does the community in which your club meets know that your club meets there? Consider ways in which to promote your club, and if your club is consistently promoting, definitely give yourself a point there. However, if your club needs to improve on promoting, make sure to talk to your members and your leaders about that. Speaking of talking to your members and your leaders, think about the element of conducting varied and exciting programs. Sure, the Vice President of Education can be the person to make that decision. However, you can consult with your members and you can consult with your leaders to determine what other variety would they like to see in the meetings. Sometimes you're going to do educational workshops. Other times you're going to do a joint club meeting. There will be times when you will bring in a guest speaker. And then there are other things you can do as well. I've heard of clubs doing backward Toastmasters meetings. I've heard of clubs doing theme meetings where they come dressed in their favorite sports team outfit, and the theme of the day is all about sports, and all the speeches are sports related. Oh, fun, creative things are being done. Yet you want to make certain that for building your membership strength, look at constantly adding variety to keep the excitement in your club. That helps with retaining your members. That also helps with recruiting new members. Element number 5 of membership strength is to make certain that you give recognition to your members who are helping to recruit new members. Every membership application of a new member asks the question, who was the Toastmaster that encouraged you to join this club? Sometimes it's a member of your club that encouraged that guest to become a member of your club. Other times, it's a Toastmaster member of a completely different club that recommended your member or your guest become a member of your club. The key is, on those membership applications for new members, names of your members who appear on those applications are being tracked. And any time that person has 5 or more new members they've encouraged to join your club, Toastmasters International recognizes them, and you can also recognize them too. Make certain that you provide recognition to the members of your club who are helping to build your membership strength. And finally, with membership strength, don't forget to conduct those regular membership building programs. As I said, Toastmasters International already has that built in. They want us to gain 8 new members in a club year based off of the Distinguished Club program. Yet you can't get 8 new members if you're only focused on retaining members. So make sure you're recruiting. Recruit August 1st through September 30th. Recruit February 1st through March 31st. And recruit May 1st through June 30th. And then recruit each and every month in between. Keep recruiting to build your membership because you want to have at least 20 or more members. And once you can focus on membership strength, that definitely aids with having club quality. Now, you looked at different elements and you heard me mentioning if your club is consistent with that element, give yourself a point. I want you to do a tally. How many of those elements are your club currently doing for membership strength? Did your club do all 6 of them, or did your club only do 2 of them? Again, the more your club is doing the different elements of membership strength, the higher your club quality will be. One final moments of truth element to cover, and that is achievement recognition. Achievement recognition. It's about making certain that your club motivates the members to stay active by monitoring their progress towards their goals, by making sure you're submitting completed award applications on time and immediately, and also consistently recognizing your members' achievement. Members and pathways can be recognized a lot sooner now than members in the traditional program. However, members in the traditional program can be recognized just as much as the members in pathways. The idea behind achievement recognition is, does your club recognize your members for the hard work they're putting in to developing their communication and leadership skills? Remember, when they earn educational awards for themselves, your club in turn earns educational awards too. So let's look at the 6 elements that make up, or the 6 standards, I should say, that make up our last element of achievement recognition. Standard number 1 is to make sure that you're submitting those award applications immediately to World Headquarters. I would say right now, unlike ever before, it is so important that vice presidents of education are making sure they are getting membership applications in. You do not want to waste time in getting membership applications into the system, because if your members are working toward completing an educational award under the traditional system, they can lose out on those awards. Time is of the essence. Even if they're in pathways, don't waste time in submitting that information. And in pathways, you're submitting the information in 2 ways. Make sure as Vice President of Education, you know exactly how to ensure Toastmasters International is receiving the data about the educational awards your members have earned. So element number 1 of achievement recognition is to get those applications submitted to TI as soon as you can. Number 2 is to make sure you're displaying and maintaining progress charts. Of course, you can use the progress charts that Toastmasters International gives. Like, I understand Pathways has gone through some revisions. There is a wall chart for Pathways that you can use, and a few clubs are using them. However, there are several clubs that are using their own progress charts that they're posting and that they're disseminating to let members see how they're doing in whichever program they're working out of. Is your club currently doing that? Give yourself a point if you are. Recognizing your members' achievements with formal ceremonies, award ceremonies, award portions of your meetings, however you do it, are you recognizing your members with public recognition and a certificate or a ribbon, providing them with a certificate or a ribbon? You want to make sure that you are recognizing your members as often as you can. That adds with the achievement recognition and also helps with retention too. Now let's look at our last few elements here for the standard of achievement recognition. We have recognizing club, district, and international leaders. A few clubs do this on a consistent basis, where if you have members of your club who are in area director roles or division director roles or any district leadership role, you recognize them. Other clubs don't mention it at all. Keep in mind, leadership development is why many of your members are there. Leadership development is what Toastmasters is about. If you have members of your club who are developing their leadership at the club level, at the district level, or even at the international level, recognize them for that. And you can do it in a variety of ways. You can have them listed on your meeting program with their, your agenda rather, with their leadership role, or you can simply have a note by their name on your member sign-in sheet, or you can do it any other way that you so choose. Yet recognize those who are developing their leadership skills. Then make sure you're publicizing your club and your members' achievements. Sure, you can publicize the members' achievement with your members themselves, but don't forget, publicize what your members are doing and what your club is doing to the world at large. Remember, we talked before about publicizing your club or promoting your club. The achievements of your club and the achievements of your members, that is something to use in the promotion of your club. Make certain that people who are not members of your club know what you're doing, and you'll figure out the best way in which to do that. And then last but not least, make certain that you're using the DCP for planning and recognition, meaning make certain you're using the Distinguished Club program for being able to plan your club meetings. Now, the Distinguished Club Program is something we will look at in a moment. However, I want you to take a moment and do a rating for your club with our achievement recognition standard. How many of those 6 elements for achievement recognition is your club already consistently doing? Were you able to give yourself 6 points there, or did you find that you only gave yourself 1 point? Now, with your club environment, of course, any of those areas you can work to change. So depending upon what your score was there, talk to your club members and talk to your club leaders about being able to strengthen your membership recognition. Keep in mind, though, membership recognition and all of the other 5 elements that we talked about, those are making up the standards for Moments of Truth. Now, Moments of Truth is a tool, it's a resource, and a lot of what I covered here, I got directly from Toastmasters International. So don't be afraid to go directly to www.toastmasters.org and download any of the Moments of Truth resources. They have a manual that you can use. They have an evaluation chart that you can use. They also have a worksheet that you can use. Go and download those resources, use them in your club environment, and make certain that you can improve your club's quality by using the Moments of Truth. You can also improve your club quality by using the Distinguished Club Program. Now, the Moments of Truth was very involved. The Distinguished Club Program is somewhat involved as well. Yet we spent most of our time talking about the 36 elements of the Moments of Truth. Now we want to take a look at the 10 club goals, or the 10 goals of the Distinguished Club Program. Now, the Distinguished Club Program just simply means every single club can use 10 goals in which to model, or let me say it this way, the club can use 10 goals to achieve and making certain that your members are getting their learning needs and their educational goals met. So let's talk about what the Distinguished Club Program is covering. First off, most of the goals, 6 of the goals, are all about education. Your members who are earning education awards are really achieving their goals, and most of the goals your club can achieve, most of the goals that your club can earn in the Distinguished Club Program are all associated with those educational goals. The membership area makes up 2 of the goals of the Distinguished Club Program. And that just simply means when you have enough members in your club environment, your members' experiences are enhanced, and you also are having meetings that are being run well, and more of the committee roles are being fulfilled. And again, people aren't all being burnt out because they're doing double duty or triple duty because you don't have enough members. So membership building, membership retention is another element of the Distinguished Club Program. Training is one of the elements for the Distinguished Club Program, meaning your club officers. Your club officers should be able to get trained in the Distinguished Club Program. So are they getting training twice in a club year? And then last but not least is the administration of your club, meaning are your club administrators, such as your president, your club treasurer, your club secretary, are they making certain reports and dues are being submitted on time? So that's the last goal to achieve in the Distinguished Club Program. Some of your clubs are already familiar with the fact that the Distinguished Club Program starts on July 1st and ends on June 30th. That is every single year without fail. The Distinguished Club Program is also being tracked every single day by Toastmasters International. Remember I said I have a special leadership legacy report on how is your club doing and how to be able to track your club's progress using the Toastmasters International dashboard? Well, the dashboard is giving you the daily reports, and you can find the information at www.toastmasters.org/distinguished performance reports. That's updated every single day by Toastmasters International, and it gives you a clue as to how your club is doing with earning those 10 goals of the Distinguished Club Program. The Distinguished Club Program works when your club is in good standing, meaning your club has paid dues for whatever the dues period is for at least 8 of your club members, and at least 3 of them needed to have been members of your club the dues period before. And finally, your club needs to have at least 20 members or a net gain of 5 members. So in order for your club to earn any of the goals, start with the foundation of being current on your dues and make certain you're building your membership. So even if you're not at 20 members, make sure you can have a net gain of 5 members, meaning whatever your membership was the year before, you need to have at least 5 more people in the current year in order for your club to achieve goals in the Distinguished Club Program. Now, with the Distinguished Club Program, I said 6 of the goals are tied to education, whether it's under the traditional program of getting 2 CCs or 2 more CCs, 1 ACB, 1 ACS, or 1 ACG, or 1 more ACS, ACB, or ACG. You can also get 1 CL, 1 ALB, 1 ALS, and 1 DTM. And then you get 1 more CL, ALB, ALS, or Distinguished Toastmaster Award, DTM. Now, for those of you who heard me say acronyms, if you're not in the traditional program, don't even worry about it because it doesn't apply to you. You're over in the Pathways program. So hearing levels 1, level 2, and level 3, that's more important for you. For those of you who are in the traditional program, you understood exactly what I meant by the acronyms. Yet no, for the traditional program, you can achieve 6 of those goals. However, because Pathways now exist, you can achieve 6 of the Pathways goals as well, or I should say, or 6 of the Pathways goals. So consider level 1 earning a level 1 by having 4 of your members earning level 1, 2 of your members earning level 2, and then getting 2 more of your members earning level 2. Get 2 of your members earning level 3. 1 of your members earning a level 4, and then 1 of your members earning a level 5. And that's how you can earn educational awards under Pathways. Now, because both programs are running simultaneously right now, Toastmasters International will give your club a goal. Your club will achieve a goal if you can earn educational awards under traditional or Pathways, but it's up to 6. So any of the 6, there are 12 education awards right now, 6 under traditional, 6 under Pathways, yet you can earn any 6 educational awards and your club will get those goals. So it doesn't have to be only under Pathways or only under the traditional program. It can be a combination of both programs. Membership recruitment. Goal 7, Goal 8, that's where you're recruiting 4 members and then you're recruiting 4 more members. Making sure you have membership recruitment is important. Goal number 9 is about making sure you can have your officers trained twice a year. Twice a year being trained means at the beginning of the training cycle, which usually starts June 1st and runs until August 31st. And then the second time frame for your club officers to be trained will begin next year, November 1st, and ends February 28th. So right now, we're in the tail end of our second round of club officer training. Have your club officers been trained for the second time? If they haven't, make sure they go to any of the training programs that District 103 is sponsoring before the deadline ends. And speaking of deadlines, the administration of your club is all about goal number 10. You want to make certain that your club is submitting dues on time. We have 2 dues periods, October 1st and April 1st. No grace period exists. If your club does not have payments on file for at least 8 members by October 1st or April 1st, your club will be considered suspended. Get the dues in on time. Something else to get in on time will be your club officer list. My deadline, and I say my deadline because one of the goals I strive for with club officers list is to make certain that my club is starting to look for officers in March, that we are doing the official promotion of those nominated candidates in April, and we hold an election in May, so that way our club officer list can be into headquarters office no later than June 1st. I'm recommending the same time frame to you and your club. Do not wait to get your club officers list in. And it's really important you get your officers list in because your district cannot send your new club officers their information on training if the district or if headquarters does not have your new list. So this year, see if you can work with your club to get your club officers list submitted on time, so that way we can get that information as a district. So, a lot of information, and I recognize that this program was a little bit lengthier in content than our normal sessions, which means we're going to go just a few extra moments beyond our 8:30 time frame, and that's because I don't want to close out with ensuring that you know the connection between Moments of Truth and the Distinguished Club program. A lot is going on with Moments of Truth. We talked about first impressions and those 6 elements, membership orientation and the 6 elements of that, fellowship, variety, and communication and those 6 elements, program planning and meeting organization and the 6 elements that make up that category, as well as membership strength and the 6 elements for that, and closing out with achievement recognition and the 6 elements. 36 elements make up members, or Moments of Truth rather, members. Yeah, you know I'm thinking members because recognizing when we do the Moments of Truth helps us to build quality club environments for the benefit of our members. Yet the Distinguished Club program helps as well. Distinguished Club program, most of it is all about achieving goals in education. Yet you have 2 goals to achieve for membership, and you have to make certain that you're getting trained with your club officers at least twice in a year. And finally, your leadership is submitting reports on time. Moments of Truth and Distinguished Club program, they are connected. They do go hand in hand. Keep in mind, when we talk about first impressions, and I'm actually going to pull my cheat sheet here where I can pull it and see it where I can read it closer because I don't have my glasses on. Yet first impressions, consider first impressions to be tied more to membership. Remember the membership of recruiting, being able to get new members. That's what first impressions is tied to from Moments of Truth to the Distinguished Club program. Membership orientation. Oh, we know that's tied to membership. So being able to recruit new members. However, it's also tied to education. So the education area of the Distinguished Club program helps to ensure that we can also meet the Moments of Truth membership orientation standard. The standard of Moments of Truth regarding fellowship, variety, and communication. Oh, connect that back to both membership and education, yet add in training. Club officers being trained along with making certain your members are achieving their educational goals and your club is recruiting members. Those 3 areas of the Distinguished Club program connects to the standard of fellowship, variety, and communication. Program planning and meeting organization, that standard of Moments of Truth. That one is connected primarily to education. I believe when I was talking about that, I said, hey, Vice Presidents of Education, you might have recognized this category is all about you. So program planning and meeting organization, that is tied to the education category of Distinguished Club program. The membership strength standard of Moments of Truth, of course, is tied to membership. However, I want you to know it's also tied to education and administration. So the membership strength, of course, recruiting members, education is all about your members achieving their educational goals. However, it's also tied to administration because your members must be submitting those reports on time and keeping your club current in what's needed to manage your club. And then last but not least is the achievement recognition category, or I should say the achievement recognition standard of Moments of Truth. With achievement recognition, that's tied to education. It's also tied to training, and it's also tied to administration. So don't forget, the Moments of Truth and the Distinguished Club program, they may be separate tools. However, they are interrelated to each other. I say they go hand in hand with each other. They give you the chance to assess your club, regularly evaluate your club, and also to monitor the progress of your club. Your club exists for the benefit of your members. Yet your members must be doing what they came there to do. If they are working toward becoming better communicators and leaders, You'll achieve your educational awards. You'll have the membership strength and the fellowship and variety and communication, meaning all the standards of the Moments of Truth and all of the goals of the Distinguished Club program, they'll be met when your members are actually performing what they came there for. Yet as a club member or even as a club leader, you may need to be able to monitor what's happening with your club's environment in order to encourage your club members and your club leaders to have more of a quality club environment. Sometimes we don't know what we're missing, and when you can do those regular evaluations with the Moments of Truth tool, you figure out exactly what you need to tweak, and you can then tie that to your Distinguished Club goals, and your club can start to have the environment that helps your members to become more successful. Whew, lots of information, right? I chuckle here because I thought about it. I thought about breaking this into a Part 4 program where I had a chance to actually focus only on Moments of Truth and then only on Distinguished Club program, but then I thought it would be too much of a disconnect. I'm glad I had a chance to focus mainly on Moments of Truth and to connect it to the Distinguished Club program, and that is a good thing that now you have both of that information shared with you tonight, and it opened your awareness. I want to make certain at this point that I can open the floor for Q&A. So I am going to put on the Q&A mode. If you find that you have a question, you are able to press *6. That allows me to know that you have a question that you would like to ask. You can also press *6 if you would like to make a comment about anything that you heard. Again, pressing *6 gives me a chance to see you in the queue, and you get a chance to ask your question, and I get a chance to provide you with that answer. Now, if you are by webinar, there should be a Q&A icon that you can click that will also put you into the queue, so that way I'll know that you have a question. This is through technology, which means if you have a question, I can't see you. I won't know it. That's why pressing *6 or pressing the Q&A icon will help. And even if you don't have one, that's fine as well. Yet because we are using technology, I always like to pause simply to give you an opportunity to prep yourself for asking your question. Press *6 to go into the Q&A queue, or press the Q&A icon. Wonderful. I am liking the fact that the information appears to be straightforward, not creating a lot of questions for you at all, and it gives me a good feeling to know that you will have this recording, which means even if you have a question later on, you may be able to go back and listen to the information and get the answers to your question, and of course you can always reach out to me later as well. Speaking of being able to reach out, I know that we are going into our next session. We are going to have a chance to have other upcoming events. And I'm pausing for a moment because I am seeing here, it looks like I have a question that has come in. So I am going to go ahead and allow our speaker to speak. So bear with me one moment. All right. Tony, your mic is now live. Go ahead and ask your question.
So you can hear me, Cassandra?
I can. How are you this evening?
Oh, okay. Good. You know, one of the concerns I've always had is when we do get new members in, people come in. You know, a lot of times we get a lot of people who come in. They say they'll join, but then you don't see them anymore. You don't see them. Try to reach out to them. I guess my question is, how do we really vet people when they come into Toastmasters to really get them to understand that, you know, really explain to us your purpose of joining Toastmasters. And what do you really want to get out of it? And are you committed? Because a lot of times, I've been around for a while, and I see them. They come in and they go, and they'll pay their money, and you don't see them anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't, should we really vet people before we actually bring them into into Toastmasters? Because it's like a revolving door. They come in and they go out. They come in and they go out. And
Tony, I'm liking your question, and I'm understanding exactly where you're going with that. And I go back to what Toastmasters International says in the bylaws of a club, that the club membership is by invitation. It's a private association. Membership is by invitation. Clubs have the right to invite those to become members. However, we can't discriminate in our membership, of course.
Right.
Yet you can set certain criteria that helps you to determine the type of members that you're looking for. I also encourage clubs to consider what's your process for obtaining new members, because that sometimes is where the problem happens as well. I remember in the early days of forming the club, my home club, it was every member we can get, because we're trying to get to 20. We're trying to keep the club alive. So anybody who pays their money, we want them to be a part. But over time, that wasn't always productive for the club. And as I started to learn more about the Distinguished Club Program and about club quality and about the moments of truth, I was like, just because we take them in and take their money and they are now a number on our roster or a name on the roster, they are not bodies in the seat and members in the meeting, and they are not taking on leadership responsibilities or membership responsibilities, and it's just making it harder for everyone. So clubs can definitely determine the criteria in which to take on people as members. You might have, say for instance, a requirement that a guest can visit your club 3 times before they submit payment. There are many clubs that will say, hey, visit us today. That's great. You are our guest. However, we encourage you to go and visit another club to make sure our club environment is the best club environment for you. Because, again, Tony, as you pointed out, sometimes people pay money and they don't ever come back again. And it could be they only wanted to be affiliated with Toastmasters. Sometimes their schedule changed and life happened and the unexpected came onto their schedule, and that's why they disappeared. There could be other reasons as well. So we never really know exactly why a person doesn't stay a member and why they pay immediately but don't get involved and they completely disappear. We don't always get that answer, because sometimes for individuals like that, they pay their membership and then you can't reach them. They don't return emails. They're not returning phone calls. They don't show up to a meeting. So it's almost as if they only wanted to be affiliated with the organization. Toastmasters in the public relations side, for the Vice President of Public Relations, there's a training, and for the District Public Relations Manager, there's a training that's done, and it talks about in that training how, as a club, you want to get clear who your target audience is, because that is who you should do your marketing and promotions for, and those are the invitations that you should send out. So it depends upon the type of members that you want to have. Some clubs are project management based, so they really would be looking for the school teacher. They might, but then their target audience, though, is for people who are in the project management profession. Your environment may be where your members are looking only for certain members to be involved in your clubs, and that's where your club officers and your club members even can get very specific as to the type of members you want to have. Some members want the club environment to be fun all the time. They could care less about the educational side. Well, they'll end up recruiting and retaining and gaining membership, or members rather, who are all about fun, and then they will start to lose their club quality because the education and the learning needs are not being met. So again, Tony, you have a very valid concern, and I appreciate your question. What can we do and how can we do it? My answer does not give you one clear-cut, direct response, my answer gave you a variety of options, and basically it boils down to you and your club members and club officers having that hard conversation with each other. And you can do that around the moments of truth. I think moments of truth is a great evaluation tool that at least opens everyone's eyes to the various elements that make up a club quality environment, and what your suggestion might be for the reason you would want members to come on board only after they visited twice, or whatever your restriction might be. At least now your members will better understand, oh, that's why Tony's making that recommendation, because now it helps with membership strength, or now it helps with fellowship variety and communication. So they'll be able to see how that connects. So your question is a valid question, and clubs definitely face that issue. And I would say, again, just think about who your target audience is for your club, have the conversation with your members and your leaders to ensure that you're all on the same page, and then decide collectively together how to go about ensuring that you can keep your members if they become, or how you can keep your new members, rather, how you can keep your new members, because that's what your question really was about. People who pay money become a new member and then completely disappear. What can you do to either prevent that, or what can you do to at least get them more involved? And I think it takes a club effort for that. So thank you for asking the question.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for the answer.
You're welcome. Awesome. So Tony's question came in. He asked that question. I think many times people are wondering, they want to know, how can we get to having in our environments the members that can help us to have a quality club environment? And as we noticed, it takes a team effort. It is not only one person who's doing that. So I want to make certain that as we're rounding out, and as I said, this program had some lengthier information than normal. It typically is a session that I can get through in an hour and a half, and tonight's session was just simply a little bit longer. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to close the mics so that way Q&A is over and I can provide the final details and give you an update as to what we're doing for the next session. So let me close the mics now. Good. And as I close out tonight, this is simply with some reminders. So I want to thank everyone that was with us for tonight's call. You were able to learn about club quality, and I want you now to know about upcoming events. And I've mentioned a few along the way, but I wanted to be very strategic because some of you have members that are participating in area speech contests. Those are still running until the end of February, and so is club officer training. Please, 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 if your club officers have not yet done the second round of club officer training, make certain they get dedicated to attending any of the upcoming sessions. Now, District 103 has been sending out club officer training emails. If by chance you are not seeing that information and you need those details, drop me an email at my email that will come up in a moment. crlee2003@hotmail.com. There, I'll just give it now. So crlee2003@hotmail.com. Drop me an email. That way I can make certain that you can get that information. Because remember, club officers being trained helps your club to achieve goal number 9 of the Distinguished Club Program. And if your club already has 4 or more officers trained during the first round, you definitely want to earn that full goal, because right now you only have a half of a goal achieved. Get the full goal of goal number 9 by having the second round of training accomplished. March 1st through March 31st will be division table topics and international speech contests. So good luck to anyone competing at the area level. And as you move on to division, have a good time competing. March 7th is going to be a special educational event that District 103 is sponsoring, and it's called the District 103 Educational Forum, Training from Toastmasters with a Real-World Twist, featuring our District 103 preferred trainers. This is an awesome event. It is going to give our preferred trainers an opportunity to use their skill as a trainer. See, there is a difference between being a speaker and being a trainer, different skill sets that are being used. Well, our preferred trainers are going to get a chance to demonstrate using those skills, yet they're going to do so by teaching our members and guests topics that we can use inside and outside of Toastmasters. We'll be covering topics such as goal setting and PowerPoint and communication styles, as well as emotional intelligence. Be on the lookout for the registration link for that program. That's being advertised right now by District 103 Toastmasters. We will also have coming up on March 21st, the District Executive Committee Open House. If you are interested in serving as a leader outside of the club environment, the DEC Open House is an opportunity for you to actually learn more about district leadership positions, especially the area director. You may have noticed tonight I mentioned your area director can tell you all the clubs in your area in which you can do a joint meeting with. Well, area directors, they are the motivators and cheerleaders and supporters of our clubs at the district level. They are your first line of support, and they are individuals that change out every year. Therefore, on March 21st, if you're curious about being an area director, if you want to be an area director, join us for that event. And then the month of April, I say it's all about the annual conference. We have the April 1st deadline that's coming up to get your annual conference t-shirt. Oh, let me mention the t-shirt. We have a special logo design that was TI approved that we get a chance to use each year for our annual conference. You will only see the t-shirt for the annual conference, and you only get a chance to buy the t-shirt for the annual conference. This year, we're offering a great group rate, which means for under $15, you can actually get your District 103 Annual Conference t-shirt, but you can only do so through the group order, and it has to be ordered by April 1st. Now, notice I'm saying it's a group order. Individually, you will pay for your t-shirt, provide the information for where your t-shirt will be shipped. Yet because we're all ordering together, we're getting a huge discount, and then our individual t-shirts will be shipped directly to us on or around April 17th, which means you'll get your t-shirt in time to wear to the conference on April 24th and 25th. April 24th and 25th is the annual conference, yet April 24th, which is Friday night, the kickoff of the conference, we need you. We need you to participate by submitting to us a photo of you, your club members, and your club leaders around your club banner. Yes, we are doing a virtual banner parade. The virtual banner parade is a fun way to see our club shining and having spirit, and for us to know who our clubs are. We get a chance to have more participation in the virtual banner parade than we do in an actual banner parade. That's why we haven't done an actual banner parade in a long time, because we don't get clubs to actually show up for that. Yet for the virtual banner parade, oh yeah, clubs want to be a part, they submit their photos, and we don't want you to miss your opportunity. April 4th is the deadline. You'll be emailing those photos to me, and our conference team will convert that photo into a photo collage with other clubs, and we will show that video starting on April 24th, Friday night, at the annual conference. The banner parade used to kick off our conference. The virtual banner parade will kick off our conference. We don't want you to miss your opportunity to be a part of it, so make certain that you submit your photo by April 4th. And of course, I've mentioned the conference several times, so April 24th, April 25th, that's our District 103 Annual Conference. It will be downtown Chicago again at the Embassy Suites on Columbus Drive. Of course, every date that I've mentioned so far for the annual conference, there are many emails that have gone out and many more that will go out as well. So if you haven't seen the registration link, please be on the lookout for that. As a matter of fact, I say check your junk mail folder. I know that's where most of our members are receiving their District 103 Toastmasters mail. It's going to the junk mail folder. So if you just open your junk mail folder, scan for District 103 Toastmasters, you'll see any of the messages that we've sent to you already about club officer training, about the District 103 Educational Forum on March 7th, and about any of the details related to the conference. And by the way, for the conference, we are in the early bird registration time frame right now. I know early bird registration for clubs and early bird registration for members will end around February 15th. So if your club hasn't registered yet, be sure to meet that February 15th deadline. Of course, you can register after February 15th. The price is just going to increase slightly. However, keep in mind, people sometimes ask me, well, Cassandra, what's the difference between a club registration and an individual registration? If your club has 3 or more members who would like to attend the annual conference, it's more cost effective to pay the club registration. If, however, your club only has 1 or 2 people interested in paying or attending the conference, then it's best to pay the individual registration fee. Each of those fees, club or individual, has an early bird registration of February 15th. After that time frame, of course, you can still register. The cost is just going to increase slightly. So check your junk mail folder, see what's out there, and get yourself registered for the conference. And the last announcement for tonight is actually in preparation for next week. Next week is the final session that I'll be doing on club quality. And that will be where I focus on the 7 club officers. Tonight I talked slightly about the club officer, meaning I talked about some of the club officers and how they tie to either the Distinguished Club Program goal or even how they tie to the Moments of Truth standards and elements. Well, next week I'm going to focus strictly on the 7 club officers as well as how that team can work together to provide more club quality. So I want you to join me for that. Invite your fellow club officers to join me for that as well. I think you'll get some insightful information. And as I said, we want all of our clubs to have club quality, and that's why I want you to register or attend. The website link is, of course, an Eventbrite link. You can definitely search out D103 Quality Club Part 3, and that's how you can get registered for that program. A lot of information was shared with you tonight. If you have any questions that come up that you need me to answer before you get a chance to be on next week's call, feel free to drop me an email at crlee2003@hotmail.com. Whew. Thank you for this extended session, everyone. This was a lot of good information. As you could tell, I'm kind of out of breath because I knew I had a lot to cover with you. Yet this is a topic that I'm very passionate about. And, of course, because I am an award-winning program quality director, I had to focus very heavily on how to ensure our clubs at the district level or from a district role, how I can bring club quality down to the club level and help our clubs to understand. And this was one of the topics I presented several times. I presented various ways on this information, and now tonight you have it via the webinar version. Consider using what you learned tonight to strengthen the quality of your club. And I understand sometimes it takes a small tweak to do it consistently for a year, and then the next year you build upon it and build upon it. And that's great because that's how you have a sustainable club. That's how your club sticks around longer. I, in my club level, do not want to lose members. I, at the club level, do not want my club to die out. So I focus on club quality, the Moments of Truth, and the Distinguished Club Program consistently every year. Having been a district leader, I also don't want my clubs to be dying out either. I don't want us to lose members. I don't want us to lose clubs. So that's why I'm encouraging you, share this information with your clubs and see how you can use it to make certain that your club has a quality club environment. Again, everyone, thank you for this session. I look forward to having you with me next time. And until then, have a safe, have a great rest of the week, and be blessed. Until next time, take care, everybody.